Well, Terry, if there was a book about the 1989 Oakland A's season, I'm pretty sure we all know what the final chapter would be. We know what the last couple pages would look like. Where does that book start, though? What's the first chapter?
I think for me, one of the things that sticks out in my mind is going to spring training in '89 and knowing that our team was basically set. I think we had like one middle relief spot, going into spring training that we had to fill. And the thing that is significant about that, or important to me about that, is that the team, the attitude of the team was bitter. That we did not win, the '88 World Series. Now, I don't want to take anything away from the Dodgers. They beat us, and we had that taste in our mouth. And it was kind of like the first day of spring training, there didn't seem to be, or Tony didn't have to do a lot of, let's say, motivating or goal setting or stuff like that. Kind of in a nutshell, it was just like, we had a great year in '88. We made it to the World Series. That was fine. We lost. That stunk. We got something to prove that as players, we felt that we didn't quite do in '88, and something that we definitely wanted to do in '89.
Seems like it was all laid out on the table for you, exactly what you're capable of, who you are, and what you wanted to do. Once you guys got to the World Series and you saw the environments of the Coliseum and of Candlestick Park, what do you remember about just those games and the atmosphere and the Bay Area during those times?
I want to preface that a little bit that, we felt confident, not overconfident, but we felt confident going against the Giants. And, in '89, in Arizona, the Cactus League, there weren't a lot of teams down there. So we played the Giants a lot that year. We played them a lot in spring training, and we played them a lot. Then we had the Bay Bridge series. And I believe, again, we were roughly around, 19-0, 18-1 against them, counting spring training games, counting the Bay Bridge series and everything. So when we found out we were playing them, we were, we were familiar with them, is a great way to put it.
Sure.
And we were also familiar with, obviously, our park, the Coliseum, but we were also familiar with Candlestick. We had played there, with the Bay Bridge series. So with that, there wasn't a lot of surprises, as far as the ballparks go, and even as far as the fans go. There's no secret the love lost between Giants fans and A's fans. So we kind of knew what to expect going in there. And with that being said, having been there in '88, that was our first experience with World Series press and media and protocol and all the stuff that you had to do. Again, we were very familiar. So going into '89, I think as a team, and I can speak individually, we knew how to deal with that more, meaning that you can say no, to some of the media requests per a World Series, game.
Sure.
As compared to '88, we might have felt, oh, this is, you're kind of obligated to do this, let's do it, and all that. So we just had more experience going into '89 with the whole concept of World Series play.
Wasn't your first time in the spotlight, definitely in '89. If there was an alternate universe and there was a way that the Giants, big underdogs, obviously, in the World Series, if they were to twist this around and find some way to beat you guys, what would it have taken for San Francisco to have won that World Series?
Well, the one thing that sticks out in my mind, that they were a great hitting team. They were, well built as well. And the one thing that they would have had to figure out was how to hit the forkball.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Stewart, game one, a good forkball pitcher, power pitcher. Mike Moore, game two, again, forkball guy, power pitcher. Then, because of the earthquake, then you go to game three, Dave Stewart again, and then Mike Moore get game four. And for whatever reason, that particular series, they had a hard time adapting to that particular pitch. So to answer that question, they would have had to figure out how to get to those two pitchers, to be able to put some significant runs on the board.
For all the things that we think we know about the '89 Oakland Athletics, from you living through it in real life, on the inside, are there some things that we don't know, that we should know, or maybe that we don't have right about our thoughts on that team?
Wow, that's a great question. I mean, so much has been said about the team and written about the team. You know, I'm just gonna the thing that sticks out in my mind, you know, about that team was the determination that came from on top. You know, Tony La Russa basically saying, you know, his major concern was I really care what happens between the lines once that game starts. That's where he said he was kind of in control, meaning that I expect these things to happen. Now, what happens off the field? Who hangs out with who goes where? Who does what? You know, as long as you're not embarrassing the ball club, he really didn't, you know, seem to care. But it was we had a very set goal with that particular team. I mean, there wasn't a lot of you know, rah rah motivation. Come on, guys, let's pick it up. Let's go. We got to do this. Don't do that. I mean, the players were very experienced, and again, you know, because of that 88, were very determined that, you know, once we got on the field, we knew what we had to do, and the players did it, and it was. You know, happened early in my career, but it's something that, you know, playing my whole career out, that that was a particular team that was something special, you know, about that team, that you know, all 25 guys, you know, were committed to winning. And, you know, a lot of people, you know, have ragged on Tony, but the one thing I'm going to compliment him on, all he wanted to do was win, and he wanted to surround himself and us players, you know, our teammates, guys who had that same mentality about, hey, we got to do whatever it takes to win.
Last thing for you here, Terry, and a catcher's question specifically. You know, the Oakland A's in that era, known for the Bash brothers, Jose and Mark, and obviously, you know, even Ricky getting on base and Carney hitting the 2-hole, and just a lot of offense, right? Not to mention Dave Henderson, Dave Parker, and so on. But I think maybe what is not remembered enough or put on the forefront enough is the pitching that you guys had. So maybe give me, from the catching perspective, what it was like to work with a Dave Stewart or a Bob Welch or a Mike Moore or a Rick Honeycutt or a Dennis Eckersley out of the bullpen.
It's a great feeling, and I can only express it to the sense that when you talk about players that played against us, and you know, their attitude was like, holy cow, you know, if we get to the sixth inning and we're behind, you know, forget it. We had, you know, Honeycutt, the specialty left-handed guy. We had Gene Nelson, you know, the power pitching right-handed guy. And once we got to Eck, I mean, forget it. You know, the game's over. And the determination of our starting staff, you know, the ones you mentioned, Dave Stewart, Mike Moore, Bobby Welch, Storm Davis. I mean, you know, guys that were maybe 3 or 4 or 5th starters on our team ended up going to be number 1 starters, you know, on other teams. So it was fun. I mean, as a catcher, you know, the weapons that we had to work with, you know, especially for me catching Stu and Mike Moore exclusively that year, the tools that they had, you know, there was so much that they had the ability to do, from hard in to that great splitty to the breaking ball. Mike Moore specifically with the slider. It was fun. It gave us like I said, a lot of tools to work with, and 100% put us in a definite advantage. And, you know, talking to, again, other teams, it was amazing, you know, how they didn't want to play us. You know what I mean? Like, even a regular season game, oh no, the A's are coming to town, you know, and they knew, you know, with the offense that we had, number 1, but number 2, the pitching that we had, that it wasn't going to be a fun series for a lot of teams.